This was a fantastic opportunity for me. It was extremely rich. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, coming to participate as an artist in residence with so many phenomenal scholars and fellows. And both for me and I think for the Institute and the Visual Studies platform, it was a bit of a risk. So I think that it was courageous to invite somebody like myself who is really a practitioner, a studio practitioner, versus somebody who's more a documentary artist or a scholar or does work about concrete specific subject matter. I'm more an abstractionist, and my work is more, it comes from a more emotional place as well as the body, the body or the viewer's bodies figures into the work. Primarily I create installations, and I've been doing that for about 30 years. I've also been teaching for about the same amount of time. But my experience is really quite different, being a practitioner and being a scholar or an artist whose process is really grounded in specific research. I really wanted to create an installation that was about this place, acknowledged Hungary, but also brought my various interests to the foreground. I thought that the elevator could be an interesting opportunity because I would capture attention with the students. I could create in more or less an abstract manner, and I was creating a bit of a performance. So it was participatory, it was abstraction, and in a certain way, a certain kind of social practice in that I worked with students to produce this.
For me, the value in a program like this is the idea that something which Margery has mentioned, that as you're working with your hands, you're patching on not only these sponges, but also the shared stories that you exchange. And it's interesting that in my personal case, through this patching and sort of working up of the project, I was also able to extract concerns from my education that I hadn't thought about in a long time. So the value of something like this is bringing people together, but also giving us the opportunity to explore concerns within ourselves that we may not have addressed in a while.
We glued sponges, but we also really, I asked them questions about their lives, about their studies, and vice versa. And in a really brief and short period of time, you feel a substantial connection. So for me, I would not say I'm an artist, a social practice artist, but community is important in my process.
As a personal unique experience, and by being a person who cannot draw even a line, it was something really valuable to be able to work with Margery in her studio and to learn more about her and her experience, because once upon a time she was also an MA student who was struggling with the realities of life. And one other thing I learned from her is that you should be open to new things, new values, or try to create your own values. Just like pink is strong, red is not the only strong color.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to combine the sort of intellectual with the tactile. I think so often in academia, there's a risk of sort of the intellectual becoming disembodied. So it's nice to have sort of a physical element to it.
An elevator to me is an in-between place. And when I chose the elevator, it was just from a hunch, a sense of this might work. It wasn't that I had really thought this out. However, after making the selection and committing to do this, I started to think that an elevator starts on the ground floor, and the students come in a certain respect, not knowing much, and then they travel to the upper floors to become more learned. And I liked the fact that if I was going to create something, most students here don't experience something like that. They're entering on the ground floor, and they too are traveling up and down within the piece. And so in a certain respect, the work is about carrying them from one place to the next.